We got a great next speaker, Fanzo. He's got a podcast that he does 365 days a year. He buys an NFT every day, and at the end of the year, he's going to sell it off as a package. Let's give him a big hand.
All right, so I was going to say, like, close your eyes, but it is early, so let's not fall asleep. But I want you to imagine we were at a pizza joint leaving a Beeple and Gary Vee discussion November 5th of last year here at this event. And after being at the event, I've had the luxury of being an early adopter and someone that's really, hopefully, focused on education and helping brands and audiences find like kind of the harmony between technology and humanity. And we were talking sitting outside of a pizza joint here in New York, although we've had a tough time finding ones that are open when I've been closing down the last couple days. But that night we were sitting outside the pizza joint and we said, what could we add as value to this community? And we were talking about a podcast, and I've hosted 7 podcasts over the years. Don't worry, if I told you the names of them, you probably have never heard of them because you weren't listening. I just know that. But over the years, I was able to listen to, kind of learn where my spot fits. I'm a full-time keynote speaker. I get to travel the world and speak, and I love creating content. And we decided, maybe a daily podcast will be the answer. But I was kind of challenged with the idea is I didn't want to create content for the 1% to just get richer. And really the financial obligation of this space is something I've been concerned about for a long time. I actually started talking about the blockchain in 2016 on stages, and I said, I hope the very first mass adopt use case is not crypto. And I consider myself a futurist, not a perfectionist, and I got that one wrong, that's for sure. But for me, it was like, how do we kind of bridge the gap? And we decided, well, if we're going to do a daily podcast, why not buy an NFT every single day for a year? And people can kind of come along on that journey, and we can really create what could be a time capsule for the NFT space. And so that was November 5th. 6 days later, we launched a daily podcast and buying an NFT every single day. Now, I will tell you, when I came up with the idea of buying an NFT every day, it was kind of like the add-on nice to have. And I'm someone that was diagnosed 10 years ago with ADHD and dyslexia. Consistency, not in my brand. Like, I would literally say consistency, 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 except don't follow my example. And for me, launching that on November 11th, I immediately thought creating a daily podcast would be where all my work, my attention, my focus would be. And little did I know, it was about 2 weeks in, and funny enough, if you're wondering about these crazy shoes, this is actually one of the NFTs that we minted for the collection. It's called Shoe Rare, and they actually were able to get us physical shoes, so for anyone that says it's just a JPEG, you can look at what's on my feet. But we decided, it was about 2 weeks in, and all of a sudden I realized, I think this buying an NFT every day is a hell of a lot harder than doing a podcast every day. I mean, my mom likes to say I came out of the womb talking, and it just took me 35 years to find a job that pays me to do that for a living. But I wanted to share, we've minted an NFT every single day, and we're holding on to every one of them because we were inspired what Beeple did with his collection, and we said, what if we hold on to all of them, and then we sell them on that 1-year anniversary as a mosaic. So this November 11th this year, someone will buy one NFT that will include all 365 days of NFTs that we purchased. And it's been one hell of a journey because I turned into the fact where now I spend 4 hours a day researching for what NFT we're gonna buy coming up. And I'm kind of one that likes to challenge myself, and why not, if we're doing it every day, we're doing a podcast every day, why not do different blockchains as well, right? Why keep it simple? And so we've actually minted on 15 blockchains. About 9 of them I don't recommend for anyone to do. Trying to get crypto to some of them was like a 4-hour chore. Then to figure out to buy it, then I had to find the marketplace that it lived in, and it's been a little bit of a task. But I wanted to share a couple, we have 10 minutes, and my intro on my podcast takes me about 10 minutes. So I wanted to share just a little bit of things, the lessons, and I'll tell you, the trends in this space not only drive a lot of the speculation, but it also drives a lot of the ways that we present projects. And early on, I'll tell you, when we started factoring in, how much this was gonna cost, the average mint price, for those that either weren't in the space or don't remember, we went back about 3 months, and the average mint price for a new project on Ethereum was about 0.06 to 0.08 ETH. Now, we can throw out what ETH was worth back then, but it was about 0.06 to 0.08. And then interestingly enough, January and February, the average mint price for the projects that we were minting was about 0.25. And so it was interesting seeing all of a sudden this shift up. Now I will tell you, in the last 2 weeks, it's probably our average mint price is probably 0.03 thanks to a goblins trend that has kind of pushed us down to free. And so some of the things that I had to figure out was, I'm not buying these NFTs to flip. I'm not buying these NFTs to what can they do for me in 30 days or 60 days. I have to look out and say, what are they going to be worth November 11th? Or what is the value they can provide? Now, I want to start by saying I've got some wrong. I got a couple people that, there's some really great marketers, and I forget, I think sometimes we forget that if we get rug pulled or if someone manipulates us to believe that they're actually going to execute on the roadmap that they put out there, there are people that are really good at their job. So I would say, like, one of the first lessons I can share is don't blame yourself if you're buying an NFT that turns into nothing, not what we thought it was going to be at the beginning. Because part of what some of the people are really good at is copying source code, right? Understanding what's working in that moment. And for me, a lot of it came down to what I consider a trust equation. And so it was, how much can I trust the founders? How much can we trust? And we even had to divide up the utility, right? Because we've all heard the utility word a lot. And I still think we can kind of think of that as just like our business plan, right? And we've got to divide up utility when we're reviewing, and we call it projected utility, actual utility. And so the ones that say we're going to do a Netflix show with all of your art in 60 days, that's the projected utility. And the ones that are going to say, hey, we're going to show up and do a Twitter space every other week, that's actual utility. And for me, the other part of this journey of buying an NFT every single day was, it's a lot of pressure on me to think about it from the standpoint of not only November, but bringing people with us. And so what we decided to do was we also wanted to, I didn't want this to be about kind of just my focus. We're doing a daily podcast. And so today will be episode 223 days in a row. And we do 2 interviews a week and 5 solo episodes. And for me, a lot of that has also just been, you kind of have to come on the journey with me. About 90 days ago, my wallet was compromised. And it was during the ApeCoin exploit, and I got to watch as NFTs were just kind of leaving my wallet. And a little context, I worked for a decade in cybersecurity for the Department of Defense. I've traveled to 76 countries, helping brands and different military branches really embrace cyber and policy sharing. So I say that because, in an interesting thing, when we look at a journey of this space over the last year, I almost needed to get compromised for the story to be told. I promise you that was not planned. It was not part of the MO, because I felt violated. I felt, it was rough. It was a very tough experience for me, not only because of, NFTs that were removed from my personal bag, but some of them that were part of the collection as well. And thankfully, because of this community, because of the projects, I think within the first hour of me tweeting out that we had got compromised, 15 projects had airdropped into my clean wallet a replacement. And I was blown away. And the amount of people that have still reached out and said, hey, did you have that NFT for your collection? If not, let's figure out a way to make it happen. And we've been very blessed. We've been either able to buy them back or get back all but 2, and the only 2 that were missing are my own personal NFTs. And so the other part of this is it is a roller coaster. And a lot of the things that I thought were important in November have shifted a little bit here. And so the last couple of things I'll just kind of share from lessons learned is that when you're thinking about different blockchains, think about that long-term technology that is underneath the blockchain, not just that someone's launching on Solana versus Ethereum, right? And I'm not a maxi on any of them. I mean, minting on 15 blockchains, I can tell you I've learned a lot on that side. The other piece of it is a lot of projects, although they might have whitelists and they might have allow lists, it's really hard to get involved in a lot of that. And I didn't predict that because in November, when we started this project, there was really very few projects that did allow lists or white lists or that pieces. And that's crazy, right? If you think about it, within 6 months, that became a norm and a trend. And so you kind of have to evolve with the space. And I'll just say that one of the mistakes that I was making was I was Monday morning quarterbacking my collection. I was like, why did I buy this on this day? But now looking back, it was all of the information I had at the time making the best decision that I can make. And so if you're a project founder, putting out there, as much as we can allow people in to build trust, to let people understand who we are, what we're about, how we can deliver. And then the other part of this, as collectors, as owners, we just have to own the fact that sometimes we'll make mistakes, sometimes we'll get it right. But I do believe ultimately, if we're aligning what our own version of success is, each time that we make a decision, even if the NFT fails, we learn and we kind of grow as, in this NFT space together. So hope you guys will check out the podcast. It's NFT 365. It's in every single podcasting app. If you don't like podcasts, we record it on video every single day as well. So it's on YouTube, just NFT 365. My name is Fanzo. Thank you guys so much.
All right, let's give it up for Fanzo. That was awesome.